Zeb Bangash, welcome to CNN News 18.
Thank you so much, Vishal. So nice to be here again.
Always good to connect with you, Zeb. How are you?
Likewise. I'm doing well, doing great. I mean, can't complain.
Thank you. Zeb, first I want to say that it was so refreshing to hear your voice in the song Tere Bina from the recently released film Rautu Ka Raaz starring Nawazuddin Siddiqui. What made you say yes to that song? Because you're very selective with your choices.
I think, first of all, it was Nawazuddin Siddiqui. I'm a big fan. So knowing that my voice would be, used for one of my favorite actors, that was amazing. Then, of course, the people who were who were part of the team of the film it's actually really lovely because um, back in 2010, like almost 15 years ago, when we first went to Bombay, so Anand and all these people are people who are very young and they were just starting out and they were doing so. It was just so nice that that comes such a long journey, and I wanted to be a part of that journey with friends. And then, most importantly, this song itself was very, very special for me because the first time I get to sing with one of my musical, inspirations, which is Shafkat Amanat Ali Khan Saab. So, उन्हीं की ये tune है, and काफी अरसे से we've been wanting to sing it together. I think almost like 15 years also, but we haven't ever really gotten the chance to do it. So that's so many factors to say yes.
So then, this is of course done, but are we now going to hear a lot more of Zeb Bangash's songs in Hindi films in future?
Well, I mean, one can never tell with films. It's very difficult to tell, but I hope so. I've just done a song in a Malayalam film. Then there's another song that I've sung in a Hindi film. There's another one that's coming in an OTT film. So it's possible. I think until the film gets released, as singers, we can't really make a call on whether it's happened or not.
Then would you like to give us few lines of Tere Bin from Rautu Ka Raaz?
तेरे बिना बत्तियां कैसे कहूँ तेरे बिना बत्तियां कैसे कहूँ मेरा तो बस तू बस तू तेरे बिना बत्तियां कैसे कहूँ.
Ah, lovely. Such a gifted voice you
Thank
have,
you.
Zeb. The
Thank you so much. Thank you.
the other song that is making waves is a song called Mehmaan from the season 15th of Coke Studio. How has been the response to the song, and what was it like returning to Coke Studio again?
It was amazing, and I mean, Mehmaan has really been. It's really like turning out to be a blessing, you know. Of course, it's always lovely to be called back into Coke Studio because I've had a long-standing kind of relationship, and every now and then I end up coming and doing some songs, and I've worked with many different producers on it, and especially since the last season, the way it happened and the fact that it was such a fresh, new perspective, I was really kind of hoping that I would be asked, and so maybe like I manifested it. I don't know, but when I got the call, I was very happy. It was a very unusual and uh, kind of fresh way of doing Coke Studio, and the response has been amazing. I mean, we made this song from pretty much from scratch, apart from Nizam's opening piece, which is of course an ancient piece. But it was really nice because I think this is the first time that most of the track was composed entirely in Coke Studio for me. So it was a very unusual and special kind of feeling and experience, and it was made with a lot of heart, and I think that is really communicating itself to the audiences.
So then, did you miss Rohail Hyatt, who started Coke Studio, or how different was it to work with Zulfi, who's the current producer of the Coke Studio, uh, compared to Rohail, who actually started this show, Coke Studio Pakistan?
Yeah, very different. I mean, they're very different animals, like producers. Um, they're very different in their perspective. I think that, for Rohail, because he himself was in a band, and, with Rohail, it was more like he wanted you to come and bring your songs to him, and then you would jam them with the band. So, or he would make a suggestion. Here with Zulfi, it was very different because, like I said, this song was kind of made uh, uh, vis-a-vis. It was conceived with just me and Zulfi after the Nizam part, of course. Like the Nizam part was our starting point, and then we had that conversation. Then then we started writing lyrics, which were then developed by Asfar as well. Then we decided on different. So it was very collaborative. I've never had such a collaborative songwriting process with the producer of Coke Studio itself. Like that's never happened. It's been more with the musicians. So from the get-go, it was a very different perspective. And then of course, I think Zulfi is really about context and storytelling. And that is very, very important to him. So many a times when we were sitting there, we weren't even talking about music. We were just like talking about, the ideas that were coming to our minds, the feelings that were coming to our minds when we heard Nizam's song, or when we heard the song. And so that was really nice because it really kind of, spurs your imagination, and a very, very different process to work with him. And then, of course, like as you can see in the video, that the thrust of, the visual is so like big and heavy. So that was lovely. I mean, walking onto that set and feeling like we were actually in a magical, space. So that kind of made it very different also. It didn't feel like a jam. It felt like literally you were like transported to another world.
Nice. But I recently discovered another of your song called Kya Hoga from the film Manto. It's a Pakistani film. And I like the genre of the song, which is jazz. Are you a fan of
Yeah,
jazz music?
I'm a fan of Geeta Dutt. So for me, more than jazz, that was a kind of a Geeta Dutt inspired song. I didn't write that song, but when I was singing it and they made me listen to it, the musicians who made it are fans of jazz music. But when I rendered it, मेरे जहन में तो सिर्फ गीता दत्त की आवाज और उनकी पर्सपेक्टिव और वो जिस तरह से पकड़ती थी और वो मस्ती, तो मैं तो उन्हीं को सोच के वो गाना गाया.
कैसे साउंड करता था वो इन योर हेड?
क्या होगा, क्या होगा, पता नहीं अब क्या होगा. क्या होगा, पता नहीं अब क्या होगा, तुम something. It's been so many days, so many years. So
But I like this
remember
is the
it.
style I like of your voice in that song. But you also been redefining folk and classical music. Where do you find inspiration each time you work on a new song?
I don't know. I think it's just a mood thing. I wouldn't say I'm redefining classical or folk music. That's a lofty claim, but I think I'm inspired. I think my inspiration is I'm really kind of connected to folk and traditional art forms, and then of course I'm training. So somewhere, how I express myself will have that perspective in it. But I think I find like my own emotions, my own experiences, my own curiosity with the world, like somewhere that plays a part in how I get inspired when I'm writing a song or singing a song. So I think another good thing, I think I've been very, very lucky, is that my listening since a child has been very, very vast and very wide. So, like I have a very wide range of influences to pick and choose from when I get a song or when I'm making a song. So I just go with the flow.
You also started a course called Healing Khayal, where
Yeah,
students under Khayal Maestro Guru Ustad Nasaruddin Sami got training. Please tell us about this
yeah.
session. Where was this held?
So this was the first part of it was held in Lahore last year in July. It was a 4-month residency for people who wanted to experience like a quick um, kind of, people who could like kind of get a sense of students who are interested in learning about their voice vis-a-vis Khayal and who are being taught in the Khayal temperament, because Khayal is an old style of classical music, which is like 800 years old, and it works on specific microtones. And it was made for not for entertainment, but for healing and spiritual purposes. So nowadays, when we are looking at classical musicians or things, of course, there's a spiritual aspect that is behind the scenes. But when we see them on stage, it's a lot of like it's a lot of show, and it's a lot of it's a performance. You're seeing it as an entertaining performance. At some level you're being entertained by it. And as the formats are getting smaller, classical artists are not being given so much space to even, so they have to rush to the Dutt part, they have to rush to the taranas. So the whole point was to really like explore classical music in its khayal music, in its original, not only format, but also to make young students see it and experience it with the intention with which it was made, which was to really heal people and to bring them peace. So that's what it was. It was held in Lahore this year and last year, and this year we're going to take it to the States. And then let's see what happens the year after that.
Uh, then, I have many questions, especially about songs, duration getting shorter. But would you please like to give us at this point a few lines of your song Mehmaan from Coke Studio?
Sure thing. हाँ हैरान हूँ मैं पर वीरान नहीं तेरा एहसास है तेरी याद नहीं रुम झुम रुम झुम इस खता की तरह मेहमान हूँ तेरा सामान नहीं सालों में पिरो के राहतों को खो के बीते हुए आंसुओं की यारियां समो के अजब कहानियों की मैं हमरा ढूंढो चाहे जितना भी अपने जहां में मिलूंगी कहाँ मैं तो हूँ आसमां में चली चली मैं हमरा.
Oh, nice. A lovely song. Today, like I was talking to you today, new songs are being discovered on Instagram, on Insta Reels. What is your take on this new trend, and do you feel the pressure of creating music that will trend?
Look, I think that pressure is always there, and I think that it's really just up to the artists themselves how much you want to take that pressure on. I remember when we were like coming into the thing, people were saying make a dance number, maybe before that it was like, do this. It's like, if it's not a reel, it'll be something else. The point is that there will always be some kind of music or some kind of format that will be the so-called formula format in an industry. And when you come in as an artist, like it's always your choice how much you want to, kind of participate in that or not. And maybe when I was younger, I would have probably gone. Right now, I'm like not really thinking about that. I'm just thinking about music that I want to make, and hopefully, like it'll do well on reels too. Like that's how I'm feeling about it.
But then talking about music you want to make today, many young musicians are breaking out, even in Pakistan. Rappers like 4 a.m. Karachi singer Talha, Anjum, and Umaye. Uh,
Yeah.
there are many. Is there a plan perhaps to collaborate with these young singers?
Absolutely. I mean, actually, there's a project in which I've been asked to collaborate with a bunch of. I mean, some of these singers I'm personally connected to and I've met. Or, it's also nice because when you kind of start, getting featured in like platforms like Coke Studio, so then suddenly, you also get back into that zone. So I've been making music on my own for the past 3 to 4 years. So it's nice. I'm back, in Lahore for a bit, and being able to meet a lot of new kids in. I wouldn't call them kids. I mean new stars in Lahore, and Karachi and Islamabad. And so yeah, there's many plans. I mean, it's always nice to collaborate, and there's so much fresh, beautiful music coming out. So hopefully we can do something new together.
Then which are the new singers which are sort of or that you are listening to from Pakistan?
You know, I'm listening to a lot of new singers, but I must say that what happened with this particular Coke Studio was that I started listening to an older singer who's actually played on so many of my songs, and I had never heard his album, their album rather, so Kavish. So nowadays I'm listening to the Gun Kali album by Kavish, and I rediscovered it after their song O Yara. Of course, I've been listening to Abdul Hanan, and he's wonderful and is also beautiful in that song. But I kind of suddenly rediscovered Jafar and Maz and in Kavish, and I didn't realize that I had never really gotten around to listening to the album properly. So Aajkal, so that's on loop these days.
Finally, this is my favorite question. What is the status of Vehra sessions? I mean, when can we expect another song from that album?
God, please send me some good vibes. Like it needs to happen. Just yesterday I was like that, trying to figure out if we can like, get that moving soon. And I really hope that I'm hoping that before the end of this year, we have three to four more songs. So hopefully we can get those out soon.
You like
But it's been, yeah, happened, and then so many other things happened. And sometimes, these projects, they just get stuck. So yeah,
which,
Dukti Rag.
which song do you think will be part of the Vehra sessions, the next, the one which will come in future? Any info you'd like to share with us?
There's a Siraiki song that I really like, which is part of that Veda session. It's called Mera Chan Masata. Mera Chan Masata, even kareda, Mera Chan Masata, even kareda, Loka de aakhe, Loka de aakhe, Jeeta, Mera Chan Masata, Mera Chan Masata. मेरा जन्म साता मेरा जन्म साता.
Yes. Well, it's always a treat to talk to you, Zeb. I
Thank
really
you
want
so
to
much.
thank you for taking time out and talking to me.
Thank you,
Best
Vishal.
of luck
Thank you.
for all your future assignments. And Jate, as both our countries will be celebrating their Independence Day later in this month, would you like to give us a few lines of your song Kya Khayal Hai?
Sure. धड़कनों की ताल बाजे सांसों का एक तारा आंगन में सजाए बैठे सूरज चंदा तारा धड़कनों की ताल बाजे सांसों का एक तारा आंगन में सजाए सूरज चंदा तारा, चलो बांट ले हम जिंदगी जरा आज यूं कर ले, कहो क्या ख्याल है। एक जहां छोटा सा अपना, एक जहां तुम्हारा, मुस्कान चाहे मीठी हो या आंसू एक धारा, चलो बांट ले हम और खुशी थोड़ी गुफ्तगू कर ले, कहो क्या ख्याल है।